Good morning. Have you missed me? I missed talking to you guys. Sorry, I had to go out and say hi to the kid and trying to do the videos when you're out there. Da 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 da. You know, I saw a great thing. Steve Harvey talks to his crowd quite a bit before and after he does his show. And he did this great talk talking about, Michael Jordan and how many times Michael has been asked to take the last shot and to not get it. And I actually have a poster in my office talking about that, about how many times, 26 times he's been asked to take the final shot in a game and missed, and all the different times that he's failed. When Napoleon Hill got done doing Think and Grow Rich, he basically spent the rest of his life giving speeches about that book and what he learned. And he was asked one time what the one piece of advice was that Andrew Carnegie added to that book. Andrew Carnegie is the guy that hired Napoleon Hill and commissioned him to do the research and gave him access to the people and to write that book, the original self-help book. And Carnegie's addition to the book, the question posed to him was, if you were to give any piece of advice to a young person who wants to be very successful, what piece of advice would you give them? And Napoleon Hill always says definiteness of purpose, knowing your outcome, having that laser beam focus on your outcome. So Carnegie knew that that was already in the book. And so his answer was double your failure rate. And his point was people who are successful never look at failure as failure. They look at it as learning. And they don't look at it as something that stops them. In fact, they look at it as something that motivates them to work even harder. Most people don't do that. If they do something and it doesn't go wrong, they quickly look around and see if anybody saw them do it wrong and then say, well, I'm never going to try that again. I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to make that mistake again. And what happens is over time, your world gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and suddenly you won't take any risks. And you can see this in people when they get older, if they've had a degree of success, that they get very conservative, don't want to do anything because they don't want to lose what they have. And rather than growing, they start dying because they're worried about losing what they've acquired, as opposed to thinking about, how can I use this to make the world better? What can I do to make a difference? What can I do to change things? Those types of questions. So as you move forward this week, and it's great to be back with you guys, and I'll be back with you every day, and I, apologize for the break. Remember that it's not failure, it's learning. Steve Harvey talks about falling forward. He talks about falling so that you can get up and be further along than you were. So even if you fell, you're better than you were before you fell. That's his metaphor for how he did it, came up from nothing and ended up significantly successful. But the reality is fear, when it drives us, limits us in every way. And remember, fear stands for false evidence appearing real. And when we're afraid of failing, we're not going to take action. When we take less action, we get less results. When we get less results, we lose confidence. So we take even less action, and it's a downward spiral. You want to be in the upward spiral where you take more action, you get more results, you get more confidence. And the way to do that is to look at failure as not failure, but learning, so you get better distinctions. Thomas Edison is the greatest example, 10,000 experiments to invent the light bulb. How many times are you going to fail before you stop trying? And he said, I'm that much closer. I've found 10,000 ways for it not to work. I'm way wiser than everybody else. And in fact, he did invent the incandescent light bulb. But let's not forget, when Edison submitted that to the patent office, the patent clerk of the United States government sent a letter to the president at the time and said, you can now close the patent office because everything that can be invented has been invented. Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. We're all done as humans. That literally happened. You can see why that guy is a guy whose name we don't know, but Thomas Edison's is a name that we do, because he was a person that looked at it as what's possible as opposed to where have I gone wrong or how come I haven't got there yet. He looked at it as I'm that much closer and I know I'm going to create my outcome. So don't let fear drive you, and don't let failure Let it be your guide. Okay, I'm not going to do that again because that didn't work, but don't make it be so I'm not going to try anymore because it didn't work out one time. The people that are significantly successful that we talk about all the time, they have had things go wrong again and again and again and again. 302 banks for Walt Disney before he found somebody that would do Disneyland. Well over 100 banks for Jeff Bezos before he found somebody that would do Amazon. Any one of those people could have done 12 banks or 20 or 100 and then said, yeah, this isn't going to work out. But they didn't look at it that way. They knew what their outcome was and they knew they were going to get it. Have an awesome day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Mr. Lampy, Mr. Dakin, great to see you guys. Sorry I've been gone. I'll be back all week. I promise it. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.